All right, so we're going to move on to our Vinegar of the Night, Vinegar Syndrome film of the night, which was a shocking surprise, to be honest, in more ways than one. We watched Terminal Island, which, if you've never seen Terminal Island, it was made in 1973, and as the movie's about a prison island. They create the Supreme Court has outlawed the death penalty in the United States. And they've created a prison island off of the coast of LA, Terminal Island, which is a real place, I believe. And they take all the prisoners there that are, I guess, would be death row inmates, essentially. So they're putting them all out on an island to do whatever they want, And they're mixing men and women. But at the opening of the movie, they're looking through some pictures of people who are on Terminal Island, and they come to this picture, and you're like, that looks like Tom Selleck. And
is
I'm
that
like,
Tom Selleck?
Man, that looks like Tom Selleck. It can't be Tom Selleck. Then the credits come up, and it's fucking Tom Selleck
Tom
in this
Selleck.
movie. 1973, very early Tom Selleck role. So he's not really a main character in the movie. He's kind of a side character in the movie. But so Terminal Island, hey, how's it going? Try Havoc Energy. Thanks for joining in and welcome to the chat. Be sure to subscribe. Thanks for coming.
You must be bored.
Yeah, you have to be bored to be tuning into us at this time of night. So, Terminal Island, it basically starts off with this black lady whose name I cannot remember. I'm not even sure she had a name in the movie. Being taken out to Terminal Island on a boat. She's put in onto the island and just told, whatever you want. And they're like good luck, and she's like, it's a weird thing to say to somebody who's going to be dead soon, or to a corpse, So she goes out on the island. She discovers this camp of these criminals, and this is kind of the main camp on the island. And she's introduced to this group of prisoners who basically take the women and treat them as slaves on the island. And she's not having it. She is not fond of it. And she meets Monk. Who's the kind of the enforcer of this camp. He's a large black man. He looks very recognizable. You look through his IMDb, and but he was in a lot of TV in the 70s and 80s.
So basically. him and Selleck starred in Magnum PI.
Oh yeah, he was in Magnum PI
from
a lot.
80 through 88.
Yeah, they were in Magnum PI a lot. So, and then she's introduced. Selleck is kind of one of the first characters you meet. He's a doctor who killed a patient and was put on Terminal Island because he killed that patient. He says he's innocent, which, come to find out, he probably is innocent. Ultimately, he kind of was like a Kevorkian type character, taking a guy out of his misery. He was a brain dead patient. And so he was convicted of murder for helping in this patient's life.
Pretty good little set of dialogue where he explained that. He
does. That's later in the movie, actually.
Yeah, when a patient is, his heart is dead or his brain's dead, how do you know when they're dead? Like
the brain dead, the heart's still going, It's like, what are you going to do? So she goes into this camp, and she's immediately made one of the women slaves. There's like 4 other women, very attractive women, that are in this camp that are made like to do work and sex slaves and things like that. And the camp is led by a guy named Bobby, which I can't figure out how Bobby became the leader of this, because he seems like a very weak character.
He has no leverage over anybody.
He's scared of the dark. He's got Monk, his enforcer. So I assume that Monk is the reason he's keeping control of this camp. So Monk kind of does things, and he oversees the camp and makes people work. They farm. They have fruits and things like that. Or not fruits. They're more vegetable farming, I guess. Yeah. And they put the women to work, and at night the women have to please the men. Basically.
Yeah, they got schedules of where they go.
And they have there's one woman in the camp that's a mute. They say she hasn't talked since she killed her parents, basically. So as the women are doing this, they have a scene where the women are taken by another group. And this other group seems very much more friendly and not going to take advantage of these women, outside of Dylan. Yeah. There's this one guy named Dylan who is kind of a bad guy and wants to kind of, rape the women and things like that. But he gets his little comeuppance in the movie, and I'll save that for you to watch it, what happens. But it's hilarious.
That's a good part.
It's a great little scene. But these guys want to take out Bobby's group and Monk. So they formulate a plan. One of the women is like a chemist. She must have been a chemist beforehand. And she finds a rock, and she said, we can make grenades. So they put together an attack plan. In the meanwhile, the the other camp's hunting down these women. They want to get the women back because the women are their slaves essentially. And there's a few fight scenes you get between the camp and the new guys. And the one main, kind of the main character is that black lady who was dropped off on the island at the first. So we're more following her, and she's kind of interesting because she kind of plays off of two of the guys in the new group, like kind of coming on to them and being their friend. I guess that's kind of her defense mechanism, I guess, to an extent, because she feels she has to.
Yeah, she doesn't trust anybody.
So they put together a plan to attack Bobby's camp and take out Bobby. Selleck at some point is kidnapped from the camp and becomes part of the hero crew that we have here. Mm-hmm. And none of these people are particularly good people. I mean, they're all on the island for a reason, probably. But some of them, maybe it was, they were innocent, like Tom Selleck says he was. So they go to attack. They put together a plan to attack Bobby's camp with the women, and they have 5 or 6 guys. I think it's 6 guys or 7 maybe.
Yeah.
They put together this plan.
10 total with the women. Yeah.
Yeah, and they put together a plan to take on the camp. And Bobby's camp's much bigger. There's probably 25 guys in his camp. Mm. They take out a few of them as they're chasing them, so it's a little less. But they put together this plan to take out Bobby's camp, and at some point, Bobby has a plan to take out some of the guards that drop off supplies and things to get machine guns, which he does. He takes one of the women and chains her up on the beach, and beats her and things like whips her on the back, and they end up taking out these guards and taking some of their guns. So they end up having M16s and a pistol, and that kind of causes a problem with this plan that these guys are putting together. But they're going to do it anyway. They're going to take them on with this plan. And they ultimately do. They take them on, and they use gasoline, which who knows where they got the damn gasoline from. Yeah. I have no clue still on that.
They keep dropping it off, I guess. Yeah, I don't know.
These grenades that they've made, and they take on the camp, and they ultimately do win. And Monk is actually a survivor. I didn't think anybody in Bobby's camp would survive, but Monk actually survives this explosion when they kill Bobby.
He was one of the worst people in the camp.
He had a nose ring, and it was never ripped out. And it was so disappointing.
The whole time we were like, oh, that nose ring.
That's going to come into play. It's like Chekhov's gun. It's going to come into play, but it never does. But Monk is ultimately blinded in this attack where they kill Bobby by this explosion. So ultimately, at the end of the movie, they've taken Monk in as a worker. I guess they're forgiving. Monk can't see. They feel bad. They take him in as a worker, but they
kind of treat him as an ox.
Yeah, he's a big dude.
So. Yeah, they got him in that kind of restraint where he's hauling
stuff around. Yeah. And then at the very end of the movie, Selleck and Bunny, who is the mute girl, who are on the beach, and the guards come up and hey, this guy Milford, I think it was his name actually. Mm-hmm. He's getting another hearing,
Selleck doesn't look like a Milford.
Yeah, he doesn't look like a Milford. So they say he's getting another hearing, and Selleck's standing there on the beach, and he's like, nah, he's dead. So Selleck decides to stay on the island with these goodish people, and that's kind of the end of the movie. And I don't feel like I explained it very well. It's much better than I explained it. It's actually a pretty good movie, ultimately. And Selleck being in it is definitely like oh my God, it's Tom Selleck in this movie.
Yeah, it was a pleasant surprise.
Yeah, it was a very pleasant surprise to see Selleck in this movie. So,
and the opening had some pretty good music. We were like,
it sounded like Johnny Cash.
Yeah, it was like a Johnny Cash.
And it's at the end too. It's in the credits scene too. Yeah, but the music in the movie in general is very 1970s.
Oh God.
Almost pornography type music.
Yeah, I kept telling you throughout the movie, I was like, dude, this could be a porn.
It was probably written as one, to be honest. It looks like it was written as
every scene was like, okay.
They just skipped the hardcore stuff.
Yeah.
And, there was a few titties in the movie. Yep. Not a lot.
Not enough.
Not enough. That's right. Never is. But yeah, so that's the movie in general. I really enjoyed it, actually. It was a very enjoyable movie.
It was actually pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it had the acting was pretty good in it.
Selleck.
Selleck and Monk honestly stood out in my opinion.
Selleck was in the movie for probably 50%.
Yeah.
But when he was when he was in it,
he was always the best actor on the screen.
The best.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
But you had some other really good characters, and there was some goofy stuff in it, some bad acting as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's just kind of
It was 90 minutes. It could have been probably.
Oh, it's a quick one.
Could have been an hour.
Yeah.
They could have cut out a lot, but
Yeah, it could have been. Short.
Overall, it was pretty enjoyable.
Yeah, it's an enjoyable movie. The acting is overall pretty good in it. Like we said, Selleck and Monk, which I can't remember his name. I think we looked it up. I can't remember the actor's name, but he's good in it. But yeah, overall enjoyable. Yeah, Vinegar Syndrome film. If you're gonna watch one, watch this one probably. I would say, and New York Ninja, watch that too. Yeah. But
we got two guys that got their roles in Magnum PI.
That's right,
this,
both of them.
Pretty sure.
You got to think that Selleck's like, hey, that guy. He was good in Terminal Island. Let's bring him on in.
Bring him over.
That's right.
Which he was in a ton of other TV shows.
Yeah, lots of Love Boat. You said the Love Boat.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Kojak.
Yeah, Kojak. Yeah, that's right.
Stuff like that.
So. All kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall, really enjoyable movie. Soundtrack's great for the time, in my opinion. Like, terrific, like, country-ish song at the start and the end. But yeah, any other thoughts on this one?
No, I mean, I would check it out.
Yeah, it's worth checking out.
This is a Vinegar?
It's a Vinegar Syndrome movie. Yeah, so we'll do a double rating on this one.
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah.
Wow.
We're going to do the Vinegar rating, and we're going to do the regular rating. So I will go on the regular. Let's do regular rating first. I'll do regular first. You do regular. Then you do Vinegar. I'll do Vinegar. So regular rating, I'm giving this a 3. It's a competent movie, and it's enjoyable to watch. Right middle of the road, in my opinion. Vinegar rating, this is getting the vaunted 4.5 stars on the Vinegar scale.
I think we're on the same.
We're on the same page.
Yeah, I got the exact same rating.
Yeah, it's great.
And I'm on a 0.1 system.
You are, so you're giving the point.
So,
yeah.
So I'll give it a 2.9, just so we're a little different.
Yeah, that's quality
nonetheless.
Movie. Yeah, quality nonetheless. But a 4.5 for the Vinegar Syndrome scale. One of the top Vinegar Syndrome movies, right up there with Death Promise and New York Ninja. Yeah, because those are like top end. Although we got a couple more that we watched that we haven't reviewed yet, like Don't Panic and what was the other one we watched last week?
Another Island.
It was the Mexican movie. It was in Mexico.
Oh.
Demonoid. Yeah.
That was another.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that later.
We will have to talk about that one at some point.
Yeah. That was interesting.
So that's Terminal Island. Check it out if you haven't seen it. I'm sure you can find it other than Vinegar Syndrome. I bought the 4K Blu-ray, which is a fantastic transfer overall. So yeah, definitely check out Terminal Island.
Yep.
All right. Got anything else to say on Terminal?
No, just have fun with it.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.